always shit my pants.
Give me the torch. Get out of this fucking light because you can't see who's behind it.
Well, such a long time ago, but I can remember it was Sunday afternoon and Craig and Matt had been out, as they always were.
Right, we're now going out for a drive in...
Metro. Yeah.
That car there. Who's that bloke? Who are you?
And they came back for their dinner and we just asked them what they'd been up to. And Matt said they'd been to this church in Wherstead where there was a story about 7 nuns that were buried there in a row, and that if you jumped over the graves, apparently this made the ghost of one of the nuns appear. They said that they were going to go back after dinner. Off they went. I think they were going to meet their friends at the square.
I reckon half the time I leave my boot open because something.
Grandad said to me, "Do you fancy giving them a real scare?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, we could go over there and act it out. He said, "Have you got anything you can dress up in, like a nun?" And I thought, well, I don't know. And I said, "Well, I've got a long black coat. I suppose I could put a pillowcase on my head, a bit like a nun's habit." So that was what I did. And we jump in the car, we drive quickly over to the church because we want to get there before them, obviously. We parked the car down a little lane by the side of the church. We found these 7 graves. The 3 of us were hiding behind headstones. It was quite eerie because it was very dark, and of course we didn't know how long they were going to be, but we were just there waiting for them. I can remember thinking, well, what if they don't come? But then we eventually hear this car come along and they get out. I know there was Duncan and Matt and Craig. Gavin was driving. He was the only one old enough to drive at that time. Yeah. So Grandad had put some smoke pellets in his pocket as well, just to add to the effect. When we saw them come along, I think it was Duncan that decided he would jump over the graves. And as he went over them, Grandad lit a smoke pellet, so all this smoke comes up and I walk out. Well, I 100% fully expected one of them to turn around and say, "Oh, Mum, for goodness sake." But no, I suppose because it was totally unexpected, they obviously had no idea that we would do anything like that, and they fell for it.
You can't see. You point it too high. You point it way too high. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Look, no,
It's on record.
She is
It's on
pissing me
record,
off.
Dad. What's up, man?
There's another one.
I always shit my pants.
Give me the torch. Fucking go.
We know you're fucking about, you cunts! Let's go.
You're a bunch of fucking wankers!
Let's go, man. I'm scared as shit though, aren't you? I am fucked scared.
That's fucking bad, man.
Well, the language I wouldn't want to repeat. I couldn't believe the language. I started to walk towards them, so every step taking, thinking the closer I get, they're going to recognise me and know who I am. But they didn't. They start to run. "She's coming, she's coming, she's coming, quick." And of course, they're all running like mad to get back to the car. And I can remember them getting into the car and Gav couldn't start it. They're getting really concerned that I'm going to reach the car and they're still sitting there and they can't get away. Craig was even crying. Of course, once they'd got into the car, we had to run back to our car because we'd obviously got to get home before they did. We jumped in the car over the Orwell Bridge. We passed them at one time, hoping they didn't see our car, but we overtook them. Got home, got all changed again, back to normal. I think I even got the ironing board out and made out I was ironing. They eventually get back. Matt was like, "Oh my God, I said, what's the matter? Grandad's going, what's happened? Oh, you'll never believe it. You'll never believe it. We went over there and this ghost, this nun appeared just out of nowhere. And they were so convinced. I don't know how I kept a straight face because I just wanted to laugh all the time. Matt said, well, can we take the video camera? We want to go back and film it.
Oh, shit, I don't think I am. Shit!
So of course my first reaction is, oh shit, I've got to do it all over again. He said, we're going to meet some more people and go back. Grandad, quick thinking, said, I'll come with you, because his idea was that if he went over to the square with them, met these other people, he could delay them a bit so that I could get changed and ready and get back to the church. Of course, drove back, park again in the same spot, race behind the gravestone. Of course, along come, I think it was 2 cars then, because there was a lot more of them. It was really funny because at one time there were some lights on the side of the church, so I walked under the lights so that they could see a bit clearer. And they were going, look, look, look! I can't remember how long that went on for, but they were all just totally taken in, hook, line and sinker.
It's pissing me off. What the fuck is that?
Zoom in, Ed.
I fucking am zooming in.
Do it!
Is this too hot?
That's a nun, man. That is a nun.
Fuck off. Just
Come
go.
back! No, don't. There's fucking loads of them, man.
There's another one. Dad, you can watch it.
Will you come back? Yeah, come on.
Tell me when she comes, eh?
Yeah, you'll see the shadow.
No.
There it is. Look,
The fuck?
every grave with a bloody crucifix. Everyone coming back.
I bet she comes this way.
She's look, that's
I'll
where the
stand
people
here.
are buried. That is where the people are buried.
Huh? Get your light round
That's
there.
real. That's fucking real, man. I've never
Go in this way. Got it.
Keep it on. Go close, let's go.
No, I've got zoom in, Rich.
You got zoom in.
Let's follow it. Follow it.
Don't follow it. That other bloke comes out.
Someone else. My hands are shaking.
Where is it?
Keep it.
That other bloke will come. No, I am, but
I know.
that other bloke. No, that other bloke will come out in a minute. I didn't dodge. She's looking. That other bloke's coming out, man.
Don't lose it, man.
Keep it on, Matt.
I've got it. I'm shaking, man. In a very good picture. She's got a big old crucifix in her hand there. When she starts walking around on here, Dad, you know it's it.
Keep it going.
Ain't doing no harm to anyone. Shut up. Ain't doing no harm to anyone. Get it on film. Get it on film.
Dad, if that gets too close, mate, I'm pissing off. I'm driving the Merc as well.
And of course, I'd then again got to race back home for them to come back. They came back and they wanted to play the video and show us. I thought, what do I do? Do I tell them? Because they were so scared. And Gav lived in Newbourne and he'd got to drive back to Newbourne on his own. And he didn't want to go home. He was so scared. I thought, it's no good, I've got to tell them. I went upstairs and I dressed up again, put my coat on, put the pillowcase on my head. Because I thought if I come down and they see that it's me, which I did, I walked in the room and at first it was almost like the penny didn't drop immediately. I think they thought that I was just dressing up like a nun because of what they'd seen. And I looked at them, I said, it was me. And they're just all looking. And then Gavin said, I know who it is and I'm still scared. They were so scared and so convinced, and they just couldn't believe for days that me and your Grandad had actually played such a prank on them. They told all their friends at school, they didn't tell them. It was us. They made out that they'd seen this ghost. Then their friends kept driving out to the church to try and see this ghost. To this day, it's never been forgotten, all those years ago. A little tourist attraction for a while. People driving out there, and I think at one time it got so bad they had to close it off because there was too many people driving out there. Of course, church warders and whatever, they didn't really understand why they were getting all these visitors. But it was a good prank. It's about the best prank I've ever done.